Before proceeding with the stairs now, turn on the visibility of all of the rim joists. You can turn off the visibility of these other joists that I have turned off just to get them out of your way as we work on the stairs. Now temporarily I'm going to turn on the visibility of the main subfloor. When framers are ready to build stairs, they take a measurement from floor to floor and make some careful calculations about how many stairs will be required to get from one level to the next. Those stairs have to follow strict building codes. So I'll turn that visibility back off. And now let's place, it's called stair stringer. This is in your stairs folder now. Stair stringer done. Place one copy of that. It comes in backwards. This actually needs to rest on the basement floor right here. So let's start by constraining that face right there to the basement floor. Then zoom in and let's constrain this face to the rim joist. And if you zoom in, you can see that there's a gap there. That's because there's actually another piece of lumber that we're going to nail right there. But we'll put that in just a minute. Our last constraint is let's put this right against the partition wall. And that's our first stringer. We're going to need a total of 3 of these. Select it, right click and choose copy, and then right click and choose paste, and right click a second time and choose paste. And now we've got 2 other copies that are already facing the right direction. Let's place 2 pieces of lumber now that help stabilize these stringers. One is called a kicker, and one is called a ledger. And really they're both 2x6s, but notice I've made one of them redwood. The kicker is the nickname for the piece of lumber that can be fastened to the basement floor, and it helps hold the stringers in place. Let's put that in first. Start by constraining it to the basement floor, and then this outer face to the outer face of the stringer like this, except let's make it flush. Let's make sure that this surface and this surface are flush. The ledger board is similar, except it's mounted vertically. I can start by selecting go ahead and tell it to mate to the rim joist, and then one edge of that 2x6 needs to mate there. We'll apply that, and last the outer face to the outer face of the stringer. We'll make that flush. We have our first stringer in place. Let's get the other 2 situated. Now right here it looks like things aren't lining up, but that's because our stringer is just a little bit high. We need to drop it down. So one way we can constrain that is right down here. Select that face and constrain it to the kicker. And then let's use the flush constraint line it up like that. Our third stringer is going to be a middle support. And rather than eyeball this one, go ahead and constrain it between this surface and the inside of this other stringer, and set your distance to 15.75 inches. Let's look at that from the top view. That looks evenly spaced. Now we'll assemble onto our stairs what are called treads and risers. I'll show you one of each, and then you'll be able to finish the staircase on your own. Let's place a tread and a riser. And we'll start with the tread. That's the surface that we walk on. Place it there. And then this side face of the tread, we can use the flush constraint, make it flush with the side of the stringer. And then the back of the tread, made it to that surface of the stringer right there. The riser is the vertical piece that goes from one tread to the next level. Make sure that you put 3 constraints. Sometimes things look like they're in the right spot, but they might be a little bit off. We need a constraint that holds it in place from side to side and from top to bottom as well. So I'll use the flush constraint for the side. And in this case, I will select the bottom of the riser and constrain it to the basement floor with the mate constraint. And that is how it looks from a side view. Before you continue making your staircase look like this one, remember each tread and each riser needs to have 3 constraints on it. Don't forget to click your apply button each time you constrain one face to another. And when you've applied the third one, you can click OK to finish constraining that particular piece. The top tread has been left off. You'll need to use a separate file for that that's a little less deep to make everything work out. Let's place this top tread. I made it a little shorter than the other tread and named it shorter tread for top. This last constraint, we want to constrain this face of the tread, but not to this part of the I-joist because it sticks in too far. It needs to be equal to this face of the I-joist down here, or you could choose the side of the floor or up here. Just don't choose this middle area. Let's look at the stairs from the right side. A couple things about stairs. as you walk down the stairs and start passing underneath the floor again, you have to have at least 6 foot 8 inches of clearance. And this opening is a little bit more than 6 foot 8. So we're good there. Another thing is that each stair total riser height needs to be uniform. If we go to the Tools Distance command, I can measure from here. To use this distance tool in Inventor, you have to get the yellow circles to pop up. Sometimes you have to hide the visibility of something. So I'm going to hide, and then I can measure that. If I read the delta distance, that is the true distance from here straight up to here in the Y direction. And I can confirm that with this arrow right here. It tells me that my riser height is about 7 1/4 inches. And it turns out that each one of these are, because I made the stringer correctly. If you come up to the very last riser though, things are a little different. This is where it's really hard to get it just right, but my measurement from here, I need to turn off the floor here to make this work. The visibility of the floor, let's try that. Okay, from here to here, it won't let me get that other side, so I'll just come over here. It's only reading 6.593, but if you add another 3/4 inches for the subfloor, that gets me to about 7.44 inches, which thankfully is within code, because the code says as long as the variance is less than 3/8 of an inch from riser to riser, then it will pass code. If not, you'd have to build the stairs again. So at this point, we're ready to start working upstairs. Turn on the visibility of everything, save your file, and let's build some walls on the main floor.